Hi and welcome back to this final video. I've obviously done all the work that you've hopefully followed through. If not, then rewind and look at some of the others in this series. Now what I'm going to do is reassemble everything. I'm going to sort of clean a few bits and pieces as I go because I want it to go back quite neat. So join along with me while I get this radio back resurrected from the grave. So join me in a second and we'll begin. Okay, quite a lot of soldering went on in this. I want to get rid of all that old flux, so I'm just going to use my flux cleaner. This does get a little bit messy, so I usually do it over a bit of paper. I've done quite a lot of work on this board, so I want to clean as much of it off as I can without soaking anything too much. Hopefully I don't pull any wires off. That. Just going to spray a bit of isopropyl on there as well. Good stuff. You can see the muck coming off of that. Leave that to dry up for a second. I'll put my soldering iron on. I think the element's gone on my soldering station, so I'm just in the process of ordering some new elements for that. I don't really want to do too much messing about with the base plate with the top face on, but let's pop this one back on. Hopefully you can see what I'm up to. It's my nicely polished top plate. Chrome trims, right, I'm just going to take them in the bathroom and give them a bit of a go over with it's a little bit grubby in places, and give them a go over with my foam cleaner. So welcome back. Well, as I say, I've cleaned up the chrome strips. They're not the best ones I've seen, to be honest. I was wondering whether I give them a go with a plastic cleaner or not, but the thing is, it's like a plastic film over the top of like a chromed plastic, and it does delaminate if you go too mad with it. So I'm going to leave it with that, I think. So it's still pretty good. So let's have a look at my box of bits. Got my tuning knob. Again, don't push these right the way down, just leave them slightly proud and then you won't get this issue with it rubbing. I'm just going to get my spare volume pot a minute and make sure this fits, because if it doesn't I'm just going to have to do a little bit of jiggling. Nope, so I'm going to have to get the multi-tool on that one, so I'm going to do that in a minute. And join me again. Welcome back again. I have got that sorted now, but it's not by any means a finished project, that knob. I'm going to have to mess with that a little bit more. It's not sitting very well. I think I need to put a bit more glue in there and give it a little bit more fiddling. Anyway, I'm going to solder back on the connections on the back here. The desk is looking a real mess at the moment. Flux on there. Shouldn't need any on there, but put some on there anyway. Tin the wires. Here. Now I joined these two together, didn't I? Let's get them apart. And remember the black one goes in there, so just tin that one up. Refresh the solder on all three of these. Select one. Now from memory, which isn't that brilliant these days, pretty sure the red goes there. Let's get some forceps. I'm going to check this in a minute off camera, just to make 100% sure I've got these the right way around. And the orange. Neato. Come around. Brown one back on. Now there is an issue with that car aerial socket, in that in the top there should be a little metal. There should be a little fibre insulating disc to stop that moving about. Now I've ordered up something similar. I've got one, just let me show you. That's one I've popped out of another radio. It's very common that these drop out. It's a 10mm washer with a 3mm hole in it. Now I can't find them anywhere. I don't know who made them for Roberts, or whoever made the aerial sockets, I suppose. I assume Roberts just bought them in like that, but yeah, basically that goes in inside there, drops in, and solders on, not solders, just crimps above. So I'm going to be gluing that back in with some of that plastic glue. Just thought I'd show you that, because say I am waiting for some washers which hopefully will fit. Believe it or not, they're from a bear manufacturing company that makes toy teddy bears. It's for the joints apparently, so that'll be interesting to see if they're correct. Certainly none of the electrical suppliers do them. Right, Where are we? Yeah, I'm at the wrong end of the camera again. Let's get you down a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to solder the braid back on here. This bit that's snapped off. I'll do this properly this time. So I'm going to tin the tip. I'm going to tin this bit first. So hot iron, 400 degrees. There we are. Let's pop a bit of solder, fresh solder onto this one. Just join the two together. There we have it. As I say, it's not very good that, because it could easily short out and you'll lose your FM if that happens. Yeah, so I'm not overly keen on that. Poor arrangement that. So unless that sits actually flat, there is a strong possibility that that will short out. But anyway, there we are. Hopefully I've melted the faceplate. No, we haven't. Just going to check a second to make sure my wires are the right way around. Okay, I was just cleaning out the speaker and I noticed I've got a very minute, almost like pin prick in it there. So what I'm going to do is just pop a little tiny bit of clear all-purpose glue. This is quite flexible, this, it doesn't affect the speaker at all. So I'm going to pop a little bit of this on just to make sure it doesn't spread, really. Not too much, come on, don't go mad. Talking to yourself helps doing this, really. Do you know what I'll do is I'll get my good old cocktail stick again. I don't want to blob a big lump of this on, I literally only want to do a little tiny pin prick. It's pretty stringy, this glue, so very flexible. I've repaired a few speakers like this, like really bad condition, and they've worked fine. I'm just going to build up a little tiny film around there. I can't even see it now. Let's get this, get my magnifier down a minute, just have a quick look at that. I can't see a thing there now. A little tiny bit more, I think I've pretty much got it there. Yep, job done. All done. So just preparing that to go back in. I'm going to clean these connections up in a minute and put some fresh solder on. They're looking a bit mucky. So we're nearing everything going back into the case. So, start to run out of space here. Again, I'm being really messy. Let's turn that soldering iron off. We don't need that one again for a bit. Clean all this lot up as well. Just snip those off while I think of it. Gonna clean those up. Right, let's put this back out of the way. You remember the strap, so I'm now going to take that one in and give it a good cleaning. Got to be pretty careful with the sort of leatherette on the back of these because it does perish. So like anything with these old radios, don't really use the handle, it's just there to finish it off. So I'm going to take that in the bathroom again and get that cleaned up. Okay, well, that's come up a lot cleaner. There was certainly a lot of dirt on that in underneath, so this radio was very well used. Gone very careful on the leather because it does start cracking on these bends, and I don't want to go scrubbing too hard with that. It's a little bit damp at the moment, but that'll soon dry out. What I'm going to do next is just clean up the ends. Use a bit of that metal polishing wadding again for that. Let's get this fresh piece. So got the gloves on again because this stuff does get in all your pores and it does make your hands black as well. It's surprising how well these bits and pieces come up. You remove the years of grime on them, and you know, I'm not looking to get a brand new radio here, but you know, certainly one that's going to last a long time and look as best as it can. Now, certainly got some muck off the side of that one. Okay, that's good. Let's get the polishing cloth on that. You see a difference in that straight away. And this one. There we go. Right, let's put the handle back in the case. So here's our lovely refinished case. Just going to pop that back in. These are a tight fit, these are. Let's make sure that's not that one. That's one. Two. And some more, I've got the little spring washers. A little box of bits that I've taken off of this radio, which is quite a bit. Cool. So I'm just going to let's get me something to just rest on there a minute. I don't want to scratch this nice finish up. So I'm just going to pop that back in there. Again, these go on back on a lot easier than they come off, believe me. There's one. Pick nothing up with these gloves on. And the second one. this one is fighting. I think it's because this one's more recessed. Let's get the bent nose pliers on this. Well, I did say they can go back on easier than they come off. Obviously I was telling fibs. There we go. There we are. So that's both back on. Handle back in operation. As I say, I have pushed the grill back out on this one, so that's fine now. Let's go and get the name badge and pop back in. Right, before I put the name badge back on, I'm just going to stick some of this on the case. Well, not on the case, but just on the leatherette bits. It's just like a car dash cleaner, but I find it darkens it down a bit. It gives it a nice sheen, and it covers up any like light scratches, that sort of thing, scuffs. And there is a little bit of a scuff on the back here, so I'm hoping this will just wipe that away. So, give it a shake. Don't stream, we just want to spray. So I'm going to put the badge on here. I want to make sure it's clean underneath first. Let's have a look. I think you just spray it on, spread it over, and just wipe off any excess. Keep applying as needed. So let's go in the back. Very nice. Still got my glove on for some reason, but oh well. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Ah yeah, I don't want to get my fingerprints in the badge in a minute. So some of this is really difficult to get to once you've got the radio back together, so it's worth doing before you do that. Just wanted to make sure I got something underneath that badge, really. That's the main reason for doing that. Yeah, nice. Let's get rid of that again. Maybe just have a bit of room on the bench. So, Robert's badge. Just gonna bear with me when I plug my hot glue gun in. Hi and welcome back again. You remember we had the saga with the small washer that retains the plug-in car area or external area in. Well, I searched high and low and I couldn't find anything exactly the same as this washer, believe it or not. It's a fibre washer, 10mm diameter with a 3mm centre hole. The nearest I could find was on a Build-A-Bear website, and I got some of these. Now you'll notice if I put them side by side, there are some differences. So I'll say this one's a little bit deeper, not that that really matters. Oh, where are we? Yeah, this one's a little bit deeper, and also the diameter is different externally, not by a massive amount, but probably half a millimetre I would think difference, and the centre hole is smaller as well. So what I've done to try and resolve this is I've put the new one in the end of my multi-tool here. Now I've got these little mandrels. These are for mounting little miniature grinding wheels. See if I can show you what I mean here. So they're for mounting these little grinding wheels. A bit closer. So what I've done is I've pinched one of those and rigged it up with my new washer on the end. So what I'm going to do is get a small file, and I'm going to hold that against the end as I whiz it round till I reduce it to the size of the new washer. So I won't bore you with the noise of that. Join me again in a second, we'll see how I got on. Okay, I'm switching to some sandpaper now because I found that the file was a little bit too coarse, so let's try it again with some sandpaper. What I'm using to measure it is my calipers. Let's have a look. I'm aiming for 10mm, still a fraction over. The old one is absolutely dead on 10mm. No, pretty much there, to be honest. It just needs a couple more whizzes and then we're done. The idea of this was to keep it nice and even. Fraction more. And if we bring the radio up, this is the offending hole, so this needs to fit in there. Okay, that's bang on. Right, excellent. So just undo that. As I say, all I've done is put this on a little mandrel, so initially they're crimped in that metal plug, but I am going to glue this one down. It'll make it a permanent thing, but end of the day, if I'm desperate for a car aerial socket, which I can't see anybody these days wanting to take one of these and plug it into a telescopic car aerial, so a little bit of a thing of the past that. So as you can see, this is just a mandrel on the end of my I think it just happened that screw just fitted the hole. So next thing is the hole size. Got the diameter spot on now. Just got to get that that hole matched up really. It's a fair difference. So again, I think I'm going to use my multi-tool. Got some little attachments here that'll do the job. Probably initially the tapered one. This is only a cheap set I picked up, but it does the job. Let's have a quick look at the diameter of that one compared to the a little bit slack. That should do it. Just double check the bits. Pop this back out. So we'll start with the tapered one first, if you can see that. See if I can get it in a little bit closer, if it'll stay focused. So we'll start with that one. So that gives me a little bit of tapered hole in it. Then I'm going to finish off with that one, which is a straighter one. That'll give me a nice straight hole. So wish me luck. Let's get that in. Tighten it up. And let's begin. Be careful with this. That's nearly there. Let's see if that one will actually fit in now. Just. Okay, let's pop the straight piece in. I think if you're doing any sort of work on these old radios, some of this stuff is pretty essential. You're going to need one of these multi-tools, either one of these or a Dremel. But, let's give that a whiz. To do that with some pliers on my little bit twitchy favourite. Let's hold that a little bit steadier in a pair of pliers, a bit safer. Oh, he says. Probably that way might be better. That hopefully is it. There we go, perfect match. I won't be manufacturing those to order, so get your own tool. Anyway, that's another job done. So as I say, I'm going to just glue that down inside, and that'll hold all that lot straight. I'll need to get it under some sort of pressure while it's drying as well, so it doesn't move about. That's that bit done. So I'm just going to change bits a minute in my multi-tool, and I'm going to pop this one in because I've got a little job to do on the control knob again. Simon Spires kindly sent me a replacement knob for this. Previously, a little bit further back in the video, you saw me refitting the knob to this radio, which is the let's see it there. It's this one here that I was trying to do. The tuning one's fine, but these volume ones always break. They're not very robust, unfortunately. I've popped a spare spring clip on the inside, like a round retaining clip, and what I've done, I've soaked it to pop the cap off, because what I wanted to do was match these two, and the other one looked a little bit different. So I've just popped the cap off of that, and I want to glue my nice cap that I've shined up on it. Really, to release these, all you've got to do is soak them in some really hot water. That softens the glue up, and the tops just drop off. Don't try prising them with a screwdriver, because you'll wreck them. You'll never straighten it back out again. So just leave it in hot water. If it doesn't go straight away, just keep dumping the water, putting more hot water in, dumping it, more hot water, and eventually it'll come off. Trust me, it does. Now this one here, I just got my fingernail underneath this one, it just popped straight off. There's just a single blob of glue in the middle there. The problem is that doesn't sit flush now. is slightly proud, so I've got to get rid of that old glue. I don't really want to soak this one because I have already polished this, so just to save a little bit of time I'm going to use my multi-tool again. So I've got a little grinding bit in here, so I'm going to have a bit of a go and see if I can make inroads into getting this glue off. It's certainly working. Probably should have a mask on for this really, because it's pretty dusty stuff. I've got to be careful because I'm down to the aluminium there. I don't want to be touching that. Again, don't keep these tools on anything for too long either, because it'll burn. You'll show a burn mark on the front house. Let's have a look at that. Okay, I don't need to go mad because that is absolutely sitting perfect now. So again, job done. Now, at some stage in the future, someone may want to take this off, so I wouldn't recommend super gluing these on. If you super glue it, you could tarnish, it could come through the aluminium and discolour it. So I tend to use like a multi-purpose. I mean, this is some Pritt universal, just bog standard universal glue really. I'm going to try this this stuff first, see how we get on with that. I have got one I've glued on there earlier, so I'm going to have a look just to make sure that one's fine. So join me again in a minute. Well, unfortunately that little fix didn't work. I've just been and checked the knob I glued yesterday and it's just not strong enough to hold the knob on properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my plastic repair epoxy and put it on with that. At the same time I'm also going to pop this little washer back in. Let's see, it's a different angle now. And I'll pop this little washer back in there to hold the aerial socket together. So let's get some of this lovely epoxy out. I'm going to pop a fair bit out because I need to fill the gap a little bit. What have I done with the top? Try not to get it on my hands. Always try but never works. Wires coming into play. Cocktail stick then, just for mixing up. That's off camera. Great. So just mixing that back up again. So it is a sort of a 5-minute set on this. Just pop a blob of that into the middle. Don't glue the edges of this because it will all spew out underneath the knob. There, that's on. And what just do is just get a little clamp and clamp that up. sure it doesn't move. There we go. So I shall put that to one side. I'm going to leave it stood up because I don't want it to start dripping out the sides. Stand that up over there. Right, now for this is a little bit trickier. I just tried it, the fit, and it is very tight, so if I'm lucky I might get away with just tapping it in, but I'm going to put a bit of epoxy down there anyway, just to secure it, and a little bit on the back of the washer. Ooh. Wet fingers. Okay, that is a tight fit, so I'm going to tap that in. Misuse the tools again. Excellent. Well, that is well and truly in. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get you in a little bit closer. I don't really want to get myself stuck up with all this glue. I want that all over the radio. So if you can see that, let's see if we can get the light in on it. There we are. That's gone in there nicely, right down the bottom. So the epoxy should hold that. That'll stop the back piece shorting out against the case now. That's bang on. I need to do that with a couple radios actually, so I will have to perfect that little task, but that's that sorted for this one anyway. As I say, not a lot different than the other one, just a different colour now. There we are, so that's the knob fixed, which has just fallen over, and also the little disc put back in. So onto the next, quickly on that epoxy. Literally put that on 5 minutes ago, and it's still tacky, but that's gone pretty hard already. I can't get that cocktail stick out of it at all. So yeah, that's good stuff. I must get me some more of that. Yeah, I think it takes a little while to dry out, but it says 5 minutes cure. It certainly is. So I can pop that knob off and refit it to the radio now. All good. Where are we? Let's just pop that one back out of the little clamp. Yeah, that's perfect. Let's come back out. So here we are, back with the radio. Let's pop this one back on. What I also have done is I've gone around the edge again with my scratch remover. I know it's finicky, but you know, it's worth doing well. So I've gone around both of the edges of both the knobs with that, just to make sure there's no little fine scratches on them. Let's pop that one on. There we go. I hope you can see that. That is the face plate. A couple of bits of dust on it, but let's zoom in a little bit closer. There we are. Pretty much finished now. I'm going to pop a brand new aerial in this one because that one was slightly bent on the end, so I'm going to put a brand new one in this anyway. So I'm going to get my aerial stash out. I've got one of those. That's a Maplin's aerial. It's a pretty good fit. The only thing is it's slightly longer and there's no pivoting joint on it. It's just purely straight up. But a nice aerial if you can't get anything else. Very nice. But somewhere here I've got, there we go, brand new from Roberts. Ever so slightly higher, but it's only down to the brass fitting on the bottom there. I don't know if you can see this. And I have tried to get some more of these from Roberts, but I couldn't see any. So whether they're under a different part number, I can't find my original invoice. But yeah, the only difference is it's a slightly prouder bottom brass piece on the new one. Same screw thread. As I say, you've got the same knuckle joint on there as well. So this one's getting a brand new one. Must be a privilege, this radio. There we go, let's pop that in. There you have it, one brand new, perfect aerial. Real shiny. So I'm going to pop it back in the case now. There's just one thing with the case, let me get it. Here we go. So all nice and shiny, all cleaned up. Got a slight scuff on the back there, so I'm going to go over that with a bit of, I don't know if you can see that. It's only a scuff, it's not a scratch as such. Purely like someone's run their fingernail across the surface, that's all. Now I'm not 100% on is this badge. It does look pretty good. It's not perfect though, so I might do something different with that. We'll see. I've got a couple bits on order, so if I can get another one, I'm going to pop it in. If not, I probably will strip that back and redo it because where I've pushed it in, the paint probably wasn't quite dry enough. I've touched it in with a bit more lacquer, but you know, I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to do something about that. Anyway, let's pop it back in if I can get this strap out of the way. Tight fit these straps. There we go. Damage my nice new finish. Not that it'll take much to touch up with another bit of oil. So first thing that's got to go in probably is the speaker. Get you out a little bit further. So probably zoomed in a bit too far here. Put me packed it away with my aerials. Let's go out a little bit further. Okay. So, as I said, there was a little bit of an issue with this one previously in that the speaker wasn't seated in properly. So, it's best to do this. I could just unsolder the wires, but I don't want to be messing around in here with a soldering iron now I've got it all back together. So what I'm going to do is turn it the right way up. strange, the speaker sort of drops down and then comes back up again. Weird. Let's get that light up out of your way a bit. So being a little bit careful with this because I don't want to damage that speaker. So, a bit of a fiddle, a lot of a fiddle. Get that speaker in before I seat it. So say it's got to sit in a little wooden groove. One side in. She blows. Right, I'm just going to pop the nuts back on that quickly. The washers. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm a little bit out of shot. I don't want to disturb it too much. One. I think that speaker's in upside down. Just bear with me, I'm just going to check one of my other ones, check that through my cable. It was as I thought, the speaker was upside down, so the wires need to be down the bottom end here. I'll just turn that around. Yeah, so the wires need to be down the bottom. It's good to have a video to refer back to, really. I don't normally. Okay, so let's get my washers. Let's say I've popped that the right way round now, and I've tucked the lip up in underneath that wood piece again. Let's just carry on and get it screwed back together. Come on. So it's just a little washer and a nut holds those in. I don't know if I've got a socket of that size actually. Yes, I have. So again, you don't want to murder these up tight because what you will do is you'll pull the thread out of the wood in underneath, so I tend to do these sort of finger tight. It's exact fits, that's an old AF socket I think. Yeah, 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch AF. So let's make sure everything's back in place here. I've got my go back in here. Let's pop the top up. Make sure our plastic bits are lined up. They always come a bit short. I don't know why. There we are. So coming back together. Let's pop him up and put the bottom screws in. So we've got 3 screws left. One either side. The particularly awkward washer on each one. And these are also slotted screws I'm sure the other ones I've got are Phillips. Bit of a fiddle, should magnetise the screwdriver really. There's one. The other one. It'll be the age of these sets. This one dates from around about 1968, I believe, so I'm sure a few service engineers have been in here in its time. Ooh, things get dropped and lost like that. I'm actually wondering if I've got those washers the right way around. Yes, I have. And the last one. Base of the aerial. This one ought to have a lock washer on it really, the aerial, because that does get a bit of hammer, so I have got some lock washers somewhere, so I shall be popping one of those in before this radio is finished completely. About to drop another screw. There we go. Ah, don't tell me that screw is a different size. Typical. Bear with me while I find the screw that fits.